First of all, best of luck to Coach Stoops and his program. I told him after the game, and it's the truth, that we knew coming in here that we had to be really good to beat a team and a program like his. Immense respect for the way they do things and how well coached they are as well. Having said that, what a team win for our football program. Offense, defense, special teams. You talk about gritty. You talk about tough. You talk about competitive. We showed it all today. We said coming on the road, you've got to have great toughness. Check. You've got to have great physicality. Check. When adversity hits, you got to have great composure. Check. And then great togetherness. And we showed that as well. And we talked about getting the game into the fourth quarter and finding a way to win it. And we absolutely did. I love you guys. I think you're fantastic at the jobs you do. But frankly, there were some really false and lazy narratives out there, guys, this week. There was perception coming out of the Old Dominion game, and I get it. It wasn't great. Nobody thought we were going to win 4 games, but not just you guys, everybody out there. I get it. That's why the line, not that I pay attention to gambling lines, but that's why the line continued to get bigger this week, I think, for Kentucky as the week went. I apologize if I just completely violated all protocols, Commissioner Sankey, but there wasn't a lot of belief in this program or in this team coming in here to be able to do what we just did against a really good team that has a veteran defense, I think 10 returning starters, great players, high draft picks, talented receivers. But I told our team on Tuesday that there was, there's perception and there's reality. And the reality was we got a good football team. Reality is that we played really good defense against Old Dominion last week. Reality is we started 3 true freshmen on offense last week and a redshirt freshman quarterback, and they would continue to get better. Reality is that we're really good on special teams, and we got a big-time punter, as we showed today. And ultimately, reality is we got great belief. The 74 young men that came up here, the coaches and staff, this isn't like some surprise. We truly, expected to win this football game, knew it was going to take a lot, knew it was going to take all of us, all 74, and we certainly were able to get it done. What a win, and a lot of work to do. Nobody's sitting here anointing us right now. There's a lot to clean up, and we can play so much better, and that's what I just told, the team in there as well. We scored 31 points. Told the team on Tuesday that nobody in this game, the winning team, has not scored more than 24 points outside of COVID, the 2020 year since I think 2015 or 16, and we got 31, and all 3 phases contributed to it. So really proud of the guys in our program. So happy for the older guys in our program that have been around here for a while. A lot of these guys. A couple years ago when I came up here, I talked about it, that it wasn't lost on me that this game up here in 2020 was the night that Coach Tanner called me and said to me after he made small talk for 2 or 3 minutes, finally said, "Are you ready to do this?" Meaning offered me the job. And, Justin King sent me a text before the game with a picture of the spot that he was standing at in 2020 when he got the alert that I had been named the head coach at South Carolina. And that was a great memory for me and for him. And we came up here 2 years ago, and that was a huge win for our program that night. And then to be able to come up here in 2024 on national television, first SEC game, we're 1-0. We're atop the SEC standings. And it's a great statement win for our program right now and a lot to build upon as well. We got to be a lot better. We got a big challenge next week with LSU, but just so happy for the guys in that locker room. I'm sure you guys can hear them through the walls. We're having a heck of a celebration, as we should. That's a great win and against a really good team, and our guys have worked really, really hard. Questions?
Have you seen a game since you've been...
You not know that David always gets the first question in here? Go ahead, I'm just messing with you. I'll give you 2, David.
Your time in Columbia, though, this is a 2-parter, Shane, I guess. Is this the best that you've seen your team play on both sides of the line of scrimmage? But also, was this the most physical game? That's a physical Kentucky team.
Yeah.
And I got the perception that you guys just kept pounding, and their will broke. I've never seen that out of a Stoops team.
Yeah, I don't know if about their will breaking or anything. I know that I'll put our physicality up against anybody and our toughness up against anybody. We knew that it was going to, we said all week that this is going to be a street fight. And that was the exact words that we used with our team. It ain't going to be pretty when you play these guys, and there's going to be some ugly runs, and they're going to make some plays, which they certainly did today. And we needed to be gritty and physical and tough and composed and fight through, the adversity. But there's no question about it. There's a lot of talk about Kentucky's defensive line and front seven, and rightfully so. Zero is going to play in the NFL for a long time. 13 is a really good pass rusher. 54 and 2 are great linebackers. Our defense is pretty good too now. And there wasn't a lot of talk about our front seven. A lot of talk about our defensive line. And, that group is really, really good up front, and they're veteran. Kentucky wasn't the only veteran defense out there today. We've got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football as well, and perception of our defense, we played pretty good, is maybe not reality. We've played pretty good defense now here going back to last season, and I'm sure you guys are aware we've won 5 out of our last 6 games here at South Carolina. And I know it's easy to say, well, you won the games you were supposed to win, you beat the teams you were supposed to beat. 5 out of 6 is still 5 out of 6, and that's what excites me, is we're just scratching the surface of how good we can be.
Are you ready to hang your hat and say that's your team's identity, Street Fighters?
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody said that about us at the end of the season, that we were a bunch of fighters and tough and gritty, absolutely. Do I want it to be ugly at all times? No. I mean, would I like to be better than, we were 12 of 16 throwing the football. That's pretty dang good. Would I like to run the ball for more than 86 yards and throw it for more than 166? Absolutely. But one thing about us is we're going to continue to get better on offense, and we're good on special teams. We're going to continue to get better on defense. We played a lot of young guys out there. You guys, Fred Johnson got out there and played some today in our 3-down package, and had some young DBs in there. Vakari Swain played more today. So we'll continue to get better in all 3 phases.
Shane, Lenore's obviously had the bang up there.
Yeah.
First of all, is he okay? And second, just what was the decision making like to just keep sending him back in there and saying it's going to come, even though the passing was kind of spotty early?
We have great belief in him, that what kind of player he is, and the guys in that locker room know that and believe in him. They believe in Robbie Ashford. Proud of Robbie coming in there in a situation and being composed and poised, and then when Lenore's went back in and he, and Robbie came out when Lenore's threw the interception. I mean, one of the first people up to him is Robbie, encouraging him. So I love that room. He got banged up a little bit on that first drive, I think, when we threw the touchdown, and took him back in here, just kind of worked on it a little bit and got him where he felt like he could go back out there. But there was never a question of not sending him back out there. He's we had a great week of practice on the football, I felt like, and we got better in the passing game this week, and it was good to see some of our guys make plays in the passing game.
The way the defense really seemed to pressure Vandegrift, taking out the passing game, was that something you guys knew you could exploit today, or what was kind of the idea going into it?
First of all, we're really good up front on defense, and we knew that, I'll put our front 7 up against anybody, and so we knew that we were going to be able to, generate some pressure on the quarterback, and starts anytime you play these guys. Anytime you play any game, it always starts with stopping the run. But we needed to control the line of scrimmage. We felt good about our ability up front on defense to be able to do that, Jack. And then certainly, Brock is a really good quarterback, Vandegrift, and I've talked about how hard we recruited him at Oklahoma. He's a talented guy, but this was his first SEC start too. And it ain't just Lenore Sellers that's a young quarterback. Brock may have been in college for a long time, but outside of the Georgia defense that he faced in practice every day, he's never played against a defense like ours in a game as the starting quarterback. So we really just wanted to, just give him a lot of different looks and really do a good job of disguising coverages and just staying on the attack. And they make it tough on you because they shift, they motion, they give you a lot of unusual formations. So that's one thing we talked about in our staff meeting this morning with the staff, that I told Clayton, don't let the shifts and motions and all that, what they do offensively, take away our aggressiveness. We need to be on the attack from the get-go, and we absolutely were, and made it, really, really, really tough on them to do things. Holding 183 yards of offense, so great job.
Molly McGrath, in one of the things said you were calling the defense KG this week. Did they get the promotion to varsity?
Absolutely. No, last week it was Debo. He was my target all last week, as Old Dominion had an All-American linebacker and Conference Player of the Year, and certainly my target this week was our defense, because all the talk was about Kentucky's D-line, and rightfully so. I mean, they're really good, and Walker's a great player. But I was in Boogie and Tonka and TJ's ear the entire week. So, yeah, they definitely get a promotion to varsity as well.
You mentioned, though, the lazy narratives. You mentioned the betting line. How much did you find things this week to use as motivation?
I really didn't have to. Like, I never once mentioned the line to them, that we're underdogs. I never used the word underdog. Everything with me was just, confidence about what we're about to do. And you better come in here with confidence, to do what we did. But I never once mentioned we're underdogs. I never once mentioned the betting line. I know the narrative is, man, Shane's on social media and he's looking at what people are saying about him. Not really, but I mean, I don't go live in a hole either during the week either, or in a cave. Like, I know coaches say that, but you can't hurt. I mean, I got up early this morning and went for a run like I always do on game day. And I came in, I'm going to watch SEC Network a little bit. There's somebody on SEC Network. I love you, Chris Doring. CD's my guy, but he's talking about how I think the words he used was our offensive line was terrible last week. They weren't. Did they do some good things? Yeah. If you take some of the sacks out of it, we ran for over 200 yards last week, and we're not a terrible defensive line. So just stuff like that, you can't help but maybe if you're watching television or whatever, hear stuff. And if I hear a little bit of it, your players are as well. So just really the thing that I tried to do this week, Jordan, was just, show them we did some really good things against Old Dominion. Was it good enough? No, absolutely not. And we have a higher expectation and standard. And the players knew that. I didn't have to say anything. I mean, we had a team, and before the team meeting on Tuesday, I think Debo got them together and made sure they understood that, look, what Saturday night wasn't the standard that we played with, but also understanding we played a lot of young guys, and we're only going to continue to get better offensively, and we're going to continue to lean on our defense. And there was great confidence coming in here. There's no question about it. Our guys had a lot of belief about what we were about to do, and great belief in one another.
This combination of Kennard and Stewart pass rushing coming off the edge, I mean, that's, I think, 9 sacks as a defense in the first 2 games. Just,
Oof.
I mean, what can you, where is this going to go with these 2 guys, you think, if they stay healthy and continue to improve?
Yeah, I like the depth in there and the fact that we have more than 2. And then the fact that teams are going to have to be concerned about Dylan and Kyle and the rest of our edges. Well, great. We got multiple defensive tackles, 3 that returned from last year. Then we've added some guys. Also, it helps Phil in that you don't have to always bring pressure, meaning bring a linebacker, which we did some of that today plenty, don't get me wrong, but we can be even more disruptive, and we don't always have to bring pressure in order to do it. So it's we've got some guys that can rush the passer. We have more. I've been saying it all along. We've got depth and athleticism up front, and we made it really tough on them. I mean, there was that one series where they were coming out of our tunnel over here, and they just continued to go backwards, and it was holding penalty after holding penalty after holding penalty, which, I mean, that's a great confidence boost when you're standing on the sideline and you realize that they can't block you, and that's a good offensive line. I mean, the 2 tackles are really good players. 54 was at Tennessee last year and did a good job against us, and then the interior guys, they have played a lot of football here at Kentucky, so that wasn't like some chump offensive line. That's a really good offensive line, and credit to our guys up front offensively, but especially being able to run the ball too against a good defensive front.
I feel like a common word you guys use to describe Lenoris is consistent. Yes, it's about his demeanor, but also his playmaking too. How are you seeing him through 2 games, one being an SEC game now, deal with those inconsistent moments, fight through adversity? Obviously an injury was a part, but just either in practice or in games.
Just that. Consistent, he doesn't get too high, too low, and sometimes I wonder what's really going on inside his head. But his teammates have his back, and that's what we talked about before the game at the hotel. Is just have each other's backs today, and it's not going to be pretty. We're going to make some mistakes, and when we do, the other side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, got to pick each other up, and that's what they did. Great job by our defense when he threw that interception, coming out there and holding them to a field goal, I believe, on that series. And so that's what it's got to be. We mantra on defense is put the ball down, and we put them in a tough situation, and they went out there and got a stop. But Lenoris is confident, and I hate it. Some of those, one of the sacks today, we got beat. I think they had the 2 in a row right there. I think it was the third quarter maybe, but had 2 in a row where we got beat. I think the tight end got beat one time, and then there was another time we had a 5-man protection and they brought 6, and Lenoris has got to be able to get rid of the ball there. So he'll continue to get better from that standpoint. But he's gritty, he's tough, and when something bad happens, it's when he threw the interception, it wasn't like coming off the field and wide eyes and rattled. He's just very poised and knew what he did wrong, and it's just play the next play, just like we talk about all the time.
your wide receivers today. You talked a lot last week about, you need to be better, both, pass catching and blocking. What was your assessment today, and especially Mazio Bennett? What does he do for an offense? How does he open things up for you?
Yeah, Mazio is a competitor. It was great to see him. Credit Lenoris. I mean, that's what he can do. He can extend plays, which he did on a couple of those big throws. And Mazio is a competitor that did some really good things for sure today. And I told those receivers at halftime. I think we had 21 plays at halftime. So I think the receivers are looking around like, what the heck? And I had to remind them, like, guys, we only played 21 plays, fellas. So it ain't like we've played a bunch of plays and had opportunities to throw. But I told those receivers at halftime, like, we're not going to be able to go out here and just run the ball 30 times in the second half and go home. We're going to have to make some plays in the passing game. And we felt confident doing that. And those guys did. Credit to Lenoris for scrambling and being able to create some plays and make plays downfield. Huge play in the game was, I don't even remember if we got points, but it seems like it was a big play in the game where we went for the fourth down or faked like we were going forward, and Brady Hunt came in there and did a great job on that little thing to draw them off sides. And can't remember if we got points out of that or not, but just,
Got a touchdown there.
Perfect. All right. So, but just stuff like that was a big play. The fourth down, it was a fourth down stop where I think we didn't get much out of it, or maybe held them to a field goal when they went for it. We would love to create, get a touchdown there. But receivers, we got a good group in there, and they'll continue to get better. I like that group. I like the progress they made this week, and we'll continue to lean on them. And Michael Smith, you saw him come in there, him and Josh Simon both, and make some catches, and they're weapons in the passing game also.
We'll take two more, John and Elijah.
You touched on it a little bit, but Lenoris, he's put the ball on the ground a little bit. Is that something you talked with him about? It seemed like he was feeling the rush a little bit better in the second half. The wide receivers and tight ends had made some plays. Did you feel like he kind of settled in as a passer? He was a little bit more on target, and it seemed like he was seeing the field a little bit better in that second half.
Yeah, I think so. Feeling ball security absolutely is a premium. We've got to do a better job with that, without a doubt, the way we hold it if we're going to run the quarterback. I mean, a couple times he got hit when he didn't see the guy coming, and we were supposed to be protected. The first one over there in the third quarter, I believe, we should have been protected. Tight end just got beat. And then the other one, like I said, he got hit where he should have gotten rid of the ball quicker, and we just got to continue to coach him up on that. But I thought he was poised and settled in for sure. He kept his eyes downfield and stepped up in the pocket and got hit a couple times. We've got to prevent that. But he scrambled out of the pocket and made some plays and wasn't afraid to run it when he needed to run it. What was the second part? I'm sorry, John.
Just seemed to feel better. And
Yeah.
Guys making plays for him. I think that helped him settle in.
I think so. Yeah, I saw the field, and Kentucky, again, they do a great job defensively, and they make things really, really tough, and they take away things. And Brad, their defensive coordinator, does an awesome job. And Coach Stoops, obviously, is a defensive guy. So I thought Lenoris did a good job of kind of taking what was there. And obviously, when we got into the fourth quarter and we were in really good control of the game, we talked about let's really be smart with the football right here, and let's not put anything in jeopardy, and they're going to have a hard time moving the ball at all against our defense, so let's just make sure that we're smart. And I thought I wish we had been able to finish that last drive a little bit better. We had some penalties and didn't execute quite like I wanted to, but it was a good third quarter for us for sure.
I want to go back to that fourth down that you alluded to earlier. Brady goes in motion, does the hard count to draw him off sides.
Yeah.
One, what goes into a decision like that at that juncture of the game? And two, do you feel like that might have been a turning point for you guys to be able to get points out of that?
I think it was huge. Yeah, absolutely. Like every play is a big play in this game just because it's typically been a low-scoring game and it's a defensive slugfest. I mean, that first half, we probably both teams probably set offensive football back a little bit because it was ugly. I mean, they had very few yards of offense and we had 20 plays, but any being able to stay on the field and be aggressive was something we needed to be able to do, and it absolutely was a big play. And what goes into it, it's something that we've worked going back to preseason camp. And when it was fourth down, I just said to Dow, let's run, whatever we call it. Let's just take a look at that and see if we can get them to jump. And we were able to, and that was that. I mean, two short yardage situations. One where we were able to get a conversion, and then to be able to stop them on a fourth and short when everybody knows they're about to run right at you was really two really big plays in this game, in my opinion.
All right, let Coach go. Players in there.
All right. Thank you, guys.